bad and the weird. You either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
One, two, coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6. Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. I'm Nicho.
And I'm Chris.
And if you haven't figured it out, we are doing a Nightmare on Elm Street to continue our child murder franchise series.
Yeah, because even though this is really teens, these are like young teens. This is the children.
They're still technically children.
These are children.
Yep.
Which, I have seen this series before. I haven't seen it in a while. Ooh, revisiting this one was, this was a weird one to revisit.
Especially with all the other child murder movies we've done.
Yeah, I won't lie. Lining it up this way was a little weird.
We did this as like a back-to-school summer idea.
It is a very summery horror movie, and kind of like that's when I watched these were like pool slasher films where like we'd hang out. It was summertime, me and my friends who liked horror films, we'd be staying up late. We'd watch this stuff because it was easy to get a hold of, and I haven't seen it in a long time since then.
I haven't seen it since I was writing our chiller reviews for it, like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, and man, I had forgotten so much of this movie.
Yeah, so A Nightmare on Elm Street is written and directed by Wes Craven, starring Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson, Johnny Depp as Glenn Lance, and Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger.
This is Johnny Depp's first movie.
Yep. And it follows the mysterious deaths of a group of high schoolers who seem to be stalked by a killer in their dreams.
The premise of this movie is incredibly cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the first movies to really do this sort of supernatural slasher film where is it real? Is it not real? It doesn't matter. You will die.
Yes.
And this became a huge trope. We have now an entire genre of movies that are about this whole, like, impending, is it all in your head, does it even matter sort of concept.
Yes. And before I dive into that, I want to go through our sources. They include commentary by Wes Craven, actors Langenkamp, Saxon, and cinematographer Jax Hatkin, as well as the making of documentary Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy. And that is something that's interesting to bring up because I understand why it took them 5 years to find an outlet for this.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
New Line Cinema was the only ones who were interested in it at the time, and they only distributed horror and exploitation flicks.
Didn't produce at the time, just distributed.
But I get it, because by the time we had this movie released and was filming, Friday the 13th had the fourth one, the final chapter. Halloween 3 was a flop, even though I love it.
I do too, but yeah, this was the pinnacle era of scary franchises.
Yeah, I mean, slasher franchises. Giallo flicks had been played out. I mean, we had a slew of other franchises as well. I mean, we're just scratching the surface of how many slasher movies we had by the time A Nightmare on Elm Street was being marketed.
I mean, there's a reason why the 80s are thought of as the era for slasher films, and that's because a lot of these big franchises either started early 80s or wrapped up in the early 80s.
Yep, or mid-80s at this point.
Yes, very true.
And we say wrapped up because, let's
they
be
didn't
honest,
wrap
some
up.
of them haven't died.
Some of them are still going, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I do also think the inspiration for this one is more interesting. Granted, yes. I have not really done a dive into Halloween or Friday the 13th. I've seen all of Friday the 13th, but
I know about Friday the 13th. I am not an expert on Halloween by any means because we didn't own that one on DVD. So we, as a friend group, we did not explicitly watch that multiple times over.
Yeah. So the inspiration for Nightmare on Elm Street came from a series of mysterious deaths from the Hmong refugees who suffered from sudden unexplained death syndrome, but had dreams about their demise just beforehand. And while I think like the motif works really well with what Craven was doing, he mentioned that there's dream sequences beforehand, but no dream world. And I'm thinking in literature back to like Lovecraft's Dream Quest for Unknown Kadath.
Oh, absolutely.
So like I understand why it would have been hard to get people to really understand that idea of this like dream world to like enter into that's parallel to ours but not the same.
Oh, absolutely. Another inspiration for this movie was the song Dreamweaver by Gary Wright, which was incredibly popular at the time.
Yes.
So, this was kind of the perfect era for this sort of thing to be produced.
Exactly. So, Chris, before we tuck in our nightcaps and try and stay awake all night, what are we drinking today?
Well, we don't encourage underage drinking, so we have water.
Yes. Water.
Water.
Cheers.
Wholesome.
Yes. Refreshing. Hydrating. Family friendly.
Definitely good for young development.
Good to murder children to, maybe.
Oh, there's so much murdering. There's so much happening in this movie.
Yeah. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street, I like that it starts off with this small amount of, almost home footage of Freddy making this glove.
Oh.
And this heavy breathing and groaning gives it that little bit of, sexual pleasure from making it all.
Freddy is the creepiest creep, and he doesn't let you forget.
No. And, the movie even starts off with the weird dream sequence that, while not heavy-handed on, the warping of dreams and stuff, it's weird enough that it sets itself as a different kind of slasher, even if it is that cold industrial feeling nightmare and there's a random sheep in there somewhere.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that one.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Freddy's original tool of demise was going to be one of the little hand scythes.
Huh.
But when looking at it, they were like, that's not really very unique. We need a unique guy.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about, this is the peak era of a Murder Man movie franchise, so they wanted Freddy to stand out.
Murder Man sounds like one of the worst superheroes ever.
Well, Freddy could qualify as Murder Man if he wanted to.
Any of them could.
Oh, a lot of well, we'll argue who is most Murder Man a different day.
Okay.
But so we will talk as they come up about what reasons Freddy is the way he is. 9 times out of 10, if you want to know why Freddy is the way he is, it's because they didn't want him to be confused for any other franchise.
Yeah, I can completely understand that, especially with trying to stand out against all the other slasher movies at that point.
Jim Doyle was the head of the special effects team, and he was one of the ones who had mentioned what if it was knives attached to his hands?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of played around with some of the stuff on set, really liked how the knife hands looked, kept going with it. The gloves you see apparently are the ones that they prototyped, and they're yeah, good enough. Freddy's not very good at building.
Well, there were some, so they had 2 sets, and one they would forget occasionally that some of them had real knives on them.
Yeah. There's a lot of learning opportunities in the making of a movie and how to do it safely.
Mm-hmm.
This movie didn't do the worst. No one died. But a lot of people did kind of maybe sort of could have gotten hurt.
Nicked. Yeah.
It's fine.
But I do also think it's interesting how it immediately begins showing us that the dreams are real when her nightgown's cut.
Yes, I like that from the get-go we know who the bad guy is and what are the stakes.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. This is a fun slasher film. I don't need suspense necessarily.
No, and it does a weird thing with transitioning from the dream to daytime with the rhyme where it's it's not... it feels dreamlike, but it's semi in reality as they're walking by the kids.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed signals in this movie because again, they wanted this to be a fun summer slasher film.
Yeah,
and yet they already had their villain. So,
and I mean, it brings up questions for me too because while it starts introducing the high school drama portion that's very short lived in the movie,
so short lived. Well, these people are about to die so quickly.
It's setting up Freddy as this past boogeyman to the point where I have questions as the plot evolves. Why, if this is such a well-known case, why is he a rumor or a boogeyman? It feels like in
Yes.
Hocus Pocus where the Salem sisters are a legend by that point.
But it's been enough time. They've been gone a while.
That's the issue.
Yeah, Freddy's been dead 20 years, maybe.
Not even that.
Not even.
It's implied that it's done while they have kids.
Oh,
so
you're right. So,
if they're
it's been 10 years.
Yeah, if they're 2 or 3, yeah, it's 10, 12, 13 years that Freddy's been dead.
That's a good point. Granted, I can kind of give the teenagers some leeway on why maybe they don't know the legend because they're not paying attention. Maybe this is something that the town doesn't really talk about.
It's set in the 80s. They can't really Google stuff. Like, it's word of mouth that's passed down. But
Sure.
But if it's such a major case, then it's weird that it's relegated to being like this urban legend.
I was going to say, at the same time, while I do give them some pass, because also it's implied that only one of these teenagers is maybe literate in any way. The other 3 are not implied to be studious. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, at least one of them.
Yeah, it's like super common for you to have to do like some schoolwork about your local like history. Surely one of these kids would have been like, did you guys hear about the murderer in town? So like, I agree, a little odd, but I also think that this movie is playing on you being a fan of all of the other 70s and 80s movies where there's like a guy and he's the killer and you just kind of go with it.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of where they're just like letting it free fall. They're just letting it go.
Well, I think there's this also play on them trying to be normal suburbanites, where when we think of serial killers, usually we think of larger cities, even though like...
Or full opposite, real rural, kind of children of the corn sort of situation. Like there's two scaries, right? Like the fear of too many people, you don't know who they are. The fear that it's the one weird guy outside of town. And
the suburbs is supposed to be like this quote-unquote... Yeah, this quote-unquote norm of what America is supposed to be.
No, absolutely, I agree. This is supposed to be, nice, safe, nothing bad can really happen here.
Yeah. But I do, while I complain about, like, I don't get how the kids don't know who Freddy is, I like that there's this slow coming together of putting their own lore into the image of what Freddy is. Like, one of them saying, oh, it was knives on the board, or, oh, it was, like, his fingers.
Yeah.
So, like, they're building up this mythology, almost this forming of this urban legend, compared to, like, when we talk about our big complaint in a lot of horror films nowadays is because everyone has access to the internet.
Everybody knows exactly what the ghost is immediately.
Google, what is this thing?
Google, computer, tell me what the bad guy is. Computer, tell me how to kill the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like... the other thing that I love about this movie is, while there's not a ton of plot, the plot that is there is surprisingly well done. Like, having everyone dream about Freddy simultaneously, and that be part of the scare of, like, he could be everywhere all at the same time.
Well, and it also works well with, like, the teenage idea of, like, them not knowing the world, and then, like, the little squeaks at the window or by the outside, making it feel like they're building up this paranoia of, like, telling their ghost stories.
Oh, absolutely.
And then, of course, like, I mean, it's pushed aside as Rod the Greaser comes to have his fun time.
Yeah, and this is where this movie ages really badly. Todd doesn't age great.
Rod's fine. He's in their school.
He is. I think Rod was meant to be a lot, like, hotter in the 80s.
Oh.
And he comes off now as a little bit too aggressive. A little bit too aggressive.
He's fine. He's a dumb high schooler.
He is. They're all dumb high schoolers, as we will learn.
But it's all to set up, like, this purity of that final... It's still continuing the final girl trope with Nancy not even giving her boyfriend affection of, like, they've gone off to screw, but, like, she's like, no we're here for Tina.
Barely hold hands. Yeah, this movie plays hard into the, like, purity trope.
Yeah. And, like, also, while I can see where you're saying some of this movie's aged a little bit, where, like, the couple who are screwing are really playing it up while their friends are in the other rooms of, like...
And, like, there's, like, a couple lines where the boyfriend is like, oh, we'll take the parents' room. You guys can take her room. It's like, okay, well, rude. Like, this is, like, a 5-bedroom home. I'm sure we could pick somewhere a little bit more appropriate here.
Or the line from Johnny Depp of morality sucks.
Yeah. And granted, I understand that a lot of this is supposed to come off as, like, well... Because we have our goody two-shoes person, she's clearly marked as, like, the savior, and the rest are food for thought, or they are going to die, they're going to die.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones where rewatching it all these years later, it lessens the spook, because they are so much, where you're like, wow, you guys really played into this a lot. But it's fun.
See, I think I'm on the opposite side of, like, it's overplayed, but what it is it sets up this teenageness, or, like, this schlocky teenage horror flick
Yes, very much so.
But with the two girls having the nightmares, it sets up that, hey, the dreams aren't going to go well.
Sure.
And when we start hearing sounds at the window again, we know that it can't be Rod. They've set up this... Craven set up that, hey, we had this one thing happen. Well, it repeats again. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. I love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There is just enough where I remember watching this in high school and being like, wow, that was really scary. I can't believe that all of them died that quickly. Mm-hmm. And as an adult, I'm like, wow, okay. I should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
They really painted on the wall real big. Freddy killing these two immediately.
Well, not even immediately. Like, it's just this one, because, like, the thing with, like, the window tapping, and then eventually when it does break, that last tap feels like it's an annoyance.
Yes.
And then him pushing his head against the window, or, like, not the window, the wall, really starts setting it up across, like, hey, this is not going to be is this supernatural, or is this a slasher film? It's not going to be your usual slasher that we've been watching for the... at this point, because I don't think Michael Myers, I don't think really ever, at least as far as I've seen, doesn't go supernatural.
Well,
Jason does eventually,
Jason
but in part 4 he's not.
Yeah, the fun with Jason is that he, depending on which movie, is either incredibly realistic or is super supernatural. We only get 2 options.
Yeah. But it's the knocking on the wall that solidifies the weirdness of,
Absolutely.
Like, was what we just saw supposed to be real, or was it fake? And it's a cool effect because, like, it's just a giant piece of spandex, and it just shows, like, how simple effects can really push that boundaries.
The effects in this movie are some of the most fun, I think, in maybe the history of, like, horror. Because they go full out. There is a lot of play with practical effects, physical effects.
I mean, that's all they had.
It is all they had, but there is such an over-the-topness to make sure that you, like, really, like, enjoy the goofy horror.
Yeah.
The over-the-top horror. And for the most part, I would argue none of the special effects are overly done in a way that the audience can't immediately figure them out. There's not, like, movie magic happening.
No.
You can immediately be like, oh, spandex wall, very cool, I like it. Yeah. But there's, like, a funhouseness to this movie.
Yeah, to the point where, like, Tina following some stranger calling out her name is really a dumb move in horror, but, like...
But it works, because this movie now has set itself up for, you now know, like, what level of, like, of character we're dealing.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. So I think there's a cool few things that Craven does really well. Mm-hmm. Like, bringing up his shadow is very much like him, but it doesn't play into this faceless killer. Like, the first time we actually fully see Freddy is with his long arms, which I have always...
I do love.
I have always thought look goofy.
They do look goofy.
And his running makes it, like, work well enough.
Yeah.
But something in the commentary stuck with me, and why I think I appreciate this goofiness a little bit more, is that it was a very, very low budget film that they shot as a major picture, and you can see the intent even if the effects aren't there to make up for the level that they were trying to go for.
Oh no, absolutely.
And that's where, like, you can feel the passion and like where these little limitations are.
Well, and I like that from the very beginning we get a pretty good idea of what and who Freddy is. I mean, we've gotten a close-up of the weapons. We now know fully what Freddy looks like.
He's a bit of a masochistic killer, cutting off his own fingers just like mess with them, jumping out from behind trees just to fuck with Tina.
And now we get to talk about Freddy's face. Because we see it almost immediately. I know we mentioned that they do, like, the shadow thing like M does, where you don't know him. They immediately give up on that trope. You see Freddy instantly.
Oh yeah, he's supposed to be there shocking. It's setting him up as he's not Jason, he's not Myers. There's not going to be this silent stalking killer. He's going to be in your face.
And on top of that, speaking of those guys, something that Craven noticed about a lot of the other villains of the time was that a lot of them were mask-based. Lot of hiding behind face masks or face paint or hiding in the shadows, and he wanted his bad guy to stand out. How do you do that? Well, you show him right off the bat. But a normal dude isn't scary.
No.
So they went with the, like, acid melted face, purely because they didn't want a mask, but they wanted him to be scary.
And
they created one of the most iconic looking villains of all time because they just wanted him to be different.
yeah. Well, and part of it too is like there's some remnants of Craven's original script, especially like the reveal, like his reveal of him under the covers.
Yeah,
is creepy and a little
very
bit
creepy
and a bit sexual because it's like, okay, he's under the covers with an underage girl.
Yeah,
And the reason it was changed, it was to avoid accusations of exploiting a series of real life child molestation cases that were happening in California. I couldn't find the ones that they didn't say specifically, but I'm guessing it's the McMartin preschool cases, which
those were also the ones I came across.
The heavy result of the satanic panic. So like I completely understand wanting to try and avoid that a little bit.
I agree, but originally just know that Freddy was originally written as a molesty guy.
Yes. And you can see that
You
in
can
some
still
of
see
the
it.
scripts still.
Well, and honestly, I think changing him to technically only be a murderer, but he is gross and creepy, adds another level of like, again, there's a want for vengeance in these horror movies. The audience wants to hate the bad guy, and then we want our comeuppance at the end in some way.
Yeah.
And this is a great like way to really hammer home like, no, he doesn't just chop off his own fingers in dreams and then like attack children. He's also gross. And you're like, okay, well, now we can really play here.
Without stepping over the line for a
relatively movie.
A mass-released 80s movie.
Yeah, because remember that while we did eventually find someone to distribute this film, a bunch of people were asked if they wanted to, one of which was Disney. And Disney said, sure, make it PG-13.
And to be fair, this was Disney trying to reach out. That we have got Dragon Slayer that's got full back nudity.
Nope, this was at a point where Disney was willing to potentially produce and distribute quote-unquote adultier movies.
Yeah, Watcher in the Woods.
And so they said, well, we will think about it if you can bring that rating down a little bit. And they said, we'll think about it. And
I'm glad they did it.
Me too.
But honestly, like, this first killing is, like, really brutal. Like, carrying her up the wall, just slashing, and it's just like...
And it reminds me so much of a bunch of those other paranormal ones that were popular at the same time period.
Uh-huh.
We got flying people, we got blood everywhere. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. No notes.
It's great. And, like, honestly, like, the development of Freddy... I do want to talk about... Back up a little bit and talk about, like, his development as a character.
Oh, yes.
Is that he's described as a mixture of a boy who didn't get Valentine's candy
sad
as a kid, as well as the archetype of male violence.
I would agree.
He's this dangerous father figure who hates the youth and it just desires to slash and burn everything.
Sure. I mean, you can see it.
But I also find it interesting because this came out 3 years before Hellraiser.
Which definitely has some similarities here.
And pushed that really sexual tension of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, fans were sending fetish letters and rape and domination letters to Bradley, as well as, or England.
Mm-hmm.
As well as they mentioned a rise in like glove fetishes that were happening at this time. So
yeah, people thought Freddy was hot.
Yeah, because while we look at like the Cenobites and everything, it's clearly there. This one, it's hard to like really tie that together with how it's presented. With how it's presented,
yes. Knowing the fans that I know from the horror genre, no, Freddy is the archetype of many a person's taste.
I can't say
anything. He is not my type. I like hair on my men. I'm
friends with many a people who Samara weaving covered in blood is a kink.
Oh,
now.
For sure.
So many movies.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole fic tag list. The other thing that I find...
What is a fic tag list?
So, there are fan fictions.
Okay.
Their tags are a way to sort your fan fictions.
Oh, yeah, like a okay.
Like a hashtag.
But yeah. Okay.
Okay. Got it. Well, welcome to the depraved underworld. Gross. Where Freddy has a long list of tags and fictions. Something else fun to note about Freddy is Robert wasn't the first pick to play Freddy by like a long shot. They really wanted kind of a more typical tall buff dude to play Freddy. And none of them really stood out or they were too expensive to hire.
They would have ended up being more like Myers or Jason again.
Yeah, and like they said, oh well, we want someone different, but they kept like putting out role casts for essentially Jasons. And so eventually one of the casting directors had run into Robert somewhere else, thought he was cool, had him send in some tapes, and he went ham on those tapes trying to get Freddy. And they said, you know what? You're a little bit too gangly, you're a little bit too short, and you're a little bit too old. But Freddy's supposed to be weird.
Yeah.
And you're weird, my dude. And he went, yeah, I'm weird, right?
Got the right guy for it.
Yeah, and thus he became Freddy for multiple movies. So, granted...
For most of the franchise.
And so with all of that lovingly said, we would like to remind everyone that this is the first movie. We're only talking about the first movie. I'm aware that Freddy's background technically changes later in the franchise. We're not talking about that Freddy. That's another Freddy. It's a different Freddy.
Yeah, very, very much so. This is the one where they had to tone him down just a little bit.
They did. And also, like, this was them learning who Freddy was supposed to be, because while we kind of have an idea, they kind of knew where they were going. A lot of this ended up being a collab between Craven and Jim Doyle and the special effects team on like, hey, what can we do with this budget? How can we get something cool out of this?
Yeah.
And so a lot of the like story of this just ended up being like, well, we know we want this scene. We know we want someone to melt into the mattress. How do we write that in? Yeah.
No, I get it. There's a lot of things that they had to do that really make it iconic because they had limitations on what they could do at the time.
And honestly, they ended up with something pretty dope, so can't complain too much.
Well, and like even like while we build up the family issues compounding that they all seem to be children of divorce outside of Johnny Depp's character.
Yeah, well, poor guy.
It's something that initially feels out of place but ends up having heavy relations onto why they are a broken family later.
Ooh, true.
And while the divorce, Craven did agree that it had been overdone by that point.
I mean, everybody in the 80s, parents were either divorced or dead, so...
It works so well with the latchkey generation and that lack of supervision as, like, both either they came from broken homes or the parents were both working, so that way the kids were unsupervised, kind of like a continuation of what we talked about in M.
Exactly.
Now you have these group of unsupervised youths.
It's a lot easier to murder children when they're not being watched.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, helpful hints from the good, the bad, and the weird podcast.
This is not advice.
No, that's the funny thing with this movie is like you get this parental abandonment that derives from something they did in an attempt to protect their children, continuing that vigilante justice, just like how M also mentions in their own commentary. And M is mentioned in the commentary for this movie, too.
Oh, absolutely.
We didn't choose this movie because of M.
No, we wanted a summer fun slasher, and it just so happened that they both end up being the same. Something else that I find very interesting, and is the start of a longer running trope, is that they chose to make Nancy's father a policeman. Something that, like, only a handful of other movies did, and then slowly became, like, more and more a norm as we, like, reached the 2000s.
We have another franchise coming up that the father is a cop.
Yeah.
And he's kind of oblivious and bad.
And this is something that I find so interesting, because especially the early versions of the cop parent trope is that the very goody two-shoes kid doesn't listen to the over-worried parent. And then that trope then changes up into the 2000s until you get the child of the cop parent being like, no guys, we locked the door at night because the guy down the street killed 20 people.
Oh,
and my dad told me all about it.
I'm going to get into that in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Or not for this one. The next movie we have has some questions about the time frame, but
well, can't answer all of them, but we'll try.
Yeah. But I also like how the parents have this preconceived idea and they're not listening to the children, but at the same time they end up visibly spooked.
Yes.
Because the kids are bringing up a person that they know to be dead. So, like, it adds to that level. And clearly
someone that they're, like, trying to keep hidden from society in a way.
Yeah, it's building up that mystery of, well, who is Freddy Krueger?
And real quick, who is Freddy Krueger? Freddy Krueger is named after a real person.
A couple people.
But there is one in particular. I'm so sorry, my man. But to whoever the bully was for Wes Craven in high school, I'm so sorry, he still hates you. He named Freddy Krueger after you according to himself.
Well...
And then later backtracked and said, well, no, Freddy's actually named after a couple different people. It's not just the one guy. There was also this other guy with a similar name. But, Wes Craven holds a grudge.
Well, Krueger came from Krug from Last House on the Left.
Yes. But the Freddy part, unfortunately, came from his high school bully, apparently. Supposedly. So don't get on Wes Craven's bad side. He holds a grudge for 60 years and then puts you in a movie.
Yeah. But I also like that how quickly this movie builds up this paranoia of, like, the kids had one friend who died, and now they're building up their paranoia of going to sleep is that was the last thing that they had a connection with is they had the same dream.
They had the same dream, and this is where this movie starts to get really fun. Because this is also around the same time period where the, like, spooky stories being a, like, pretty, like, standard pastime, and the no sleep scary story is a pretty standard one that has persisted through the years. Granted, the, like, details of the story have changed over the generations.
Yeah.
But everyone has a story about if you don't sleep, you will go crazy and lose your mind.
Because it's true.
Because it is true.
Well, and I like that it starts building into, like, what's real and what's dream, because, like, there's that disappearing cop that shows that the dream's bleeding into the daytime.
Oh, yeah. Having the overlap is where this movie really stands out. Because this isn't the first one to do, like, the dreams are where the monster is. But this is one of the first ones where the dreams are real sometimes.
Yes. And I do find part of this a little bit comedic because, like, I know we have to advance the story, but, like, Rod taking Nancy into the bushes and then her dad appearing out of, like, nowhere.
With a gun, yeah.
Like, they have enough time to have a little bit of a conversation before the dad's able to act of, like...
He's the slowest dad cop ever. He's not saving his daughter very quickly.
Well, and I like the little bit of detailing, too, of, like, Rod he's shirtless and barefoot, but he had time to throw on his jacket and pants.
Those are the two things you prioritize, I guess. I don't know. The other thing that I find hilarious is that Nancy's police father, after running off this villainous boy from, attacking his daughter then goes, I hate you, Dad, and, like, runs slowly away, and he just watches her going, Nancy!
Hey, he's got a guy he's got to bring down to the precinct.
There's, like, 8 policemen in the background.
Nope, he's the head of it all.
Oh my god, he's so useless, but that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. The men in this one are useless, like how in Silent Hill the men are useless.
And that was something Wes Craven did on purpose.
Yeah.
He liked Silent Hill, but he thought it could be more.
What are you talking about?
No, sorry.
Silent Hill came out way after this.
There's a different movie. There's another Hill movie.
The Hills Have Eyes?
Hills Have Eyes.
Last House on the Left?
Both. Honestly. He quotes a lot of horror movies as things that he likes, but wanted to see a slight change or, like, what if it was a little different sort of mindset.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure he did The Hills Have Eyes.
I think so. Man, it's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a little bit before A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, and he talks about with Nightmare on Elm Street about how, like, oh man, I really liked this one horror movie, whether or not he wrote, directed, or just saw it in theaters. Wouldn't it be cool if it was like that, but, like, a little different?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of this movie, specifically Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's like, that seems really familiar. It's because he, like, just ripped it off and was like, but what if it was slightly different?
Yeah, I mean, that's how every creative endeavor works. It's like, I like this, but I want to do it a little differently.
And he really smashes a ton of movies together into this one movie. And I kind of think that's why Nightmare on Elm Street is still fun.
Well, it's the universalness of it, too, because, like, while we transition in the classroom, and, like, he brought it up that part of his interest in this is because dreams are universal, sleeping's a universal thing.
Yes, yeah.
This dozing off on class while she's trying to listen to some psychology is, like, it has that continued feeling of that, this universal fear of dying in your sleep.
Absolutely.
And especially, like, as Nancy goes into this dream world, Tina in the body bag is creepy, but... It feels so in between that feeling of, like, dozing off and, like, half awake, half asleep. Like, we don't know when exactly she passed into this world.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Like, I do like the little bits that he puts in there with the hall guard in the Freddy sweater, and then like you're 100% know she's in a dream because she's in a hallway that's full of leaves in a school that's it's a little, it's a low budget little things they do to make the movie like the dream world feel just slightly off from the real world.
Absolutely. And speaking of both Freddy's sweater and feeling slightly off, many a person has asked over the years, why is he wearing the horrendously ugly sweater? And Wes Craven does have an answer for us.
What is that?
He claims that he very intentionally picked the colors and size of stripes for Freddy's sweater because he had read a psychology paper about how red and green were opposites on the color spectrum and thus felt uncoordinated together.
Those are Christmas colors.
I don't know if he realized that they were Christmas colors, but he claims that he thought about this very long and hard. Too late, Freddy's now a Christmas character.
Oh no, I've got a Freddy Krueger cardigan that people regularly mistake as Christmas.
Yeah, Freddy's just always ready for Christmas, but he claims that it's because those colors clash, and it's supposed to make you feel uneasy.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I mean, it makes it iconic for him.
He is undoubtedly iconic in it.
Yeah, but it's also the way he still continues to mess with Nancy and like his heavy breathing that like he's getting off on the chase to her that makes it.
And it's the like chase. Freddy is one of the villains who's really into the chase portion of like all of this.
Yeah, and I don't think we've really talked about on like, granted we haven't done Friday the 13th or Halloween, but
a lot of those though, it feels like the killing is like the goal, whereas with Freddy, it feels like the terrifying is the goal.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it's the process. It's just like, okay, they're compelled because they have to. This one is because he likes to do it.
Yes,
so
he is having fun.
Yeah, he's very much a process killer instead of a product killer, whereas Jason is like, he has to kill because he's forced to. It's not because he wants to.
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of those other reasons why fans thought Freddy was as cool and as fun as he is because he has a personality of some kind.
Yeah, very
granted,
much.
It's a twisted personality, but he has one.
Yeah, very much so. And even like Nancy getting worked up and trying to tell herself it's just a dream, and then like when she burns her arm, just playing on that, pinching yourself to tell you it's just a dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also I like the little bit of humor that Craven works into this of like, when she runs out of the classroom and the teacher saying, you'll need a hall pass.
Yeah, there's like just enough snark in this film to make it entertaining.
Yeah, very much so. And then even on top of that, where we do get to Nancy checking on Rod in the prison, it makes Rod really much, it brings him back down to being a kid.
Yeah,
Despite doing the adult act of having sex, is like, at his heart, he is a scared kid of like, he just watched his girlfriend get brutally and cut up and brought up a wall, which the cops are like, yeah, that's not possible.
I can't blame the cops for not believing him. It does seem very impossible, but yeah, he's having a rough time in prison. He's not doing well.
Yeah, very much so. And then even when we cut from that, like, Nancy still trying to be adult of, like, the bathroom, like, napping of, like, she's like, oh, I would never fall. That will never happen to me, even though, like, her mother's like, be careful, don't fall asleep. And then, like, Freddy Krueger's like,
immediately showing up.
Want to bet. But again, it brings up that sexualness of Krueger of, like, appearing between the foam between her legs. And it's
in a bathtub, yeah. No, there is always something uncomfortable about Freddy. But the way this movie plays it is, it's never too heavy of a subject. You know he's wildly, like, the worst. It's what he's meant to be. But the focus is more on the, like, interest of the special effects than almost anything else. Oh. It's a lovely distraction. It's
such an iconic scene because, like, it's so well done. It's
practical effects, and they stand test of time. They still look so cool. Even if I know how they're done, they still look dope.
Exactly. But it's building up that, one, he's gotten to her in the classroom. He's gotten to her in the safety of her own home, in her in her bathtub.
Yep, he's
something
messing with her.
That's supposed to be comforting
and private. Like, she's got her door locked and everything.
Exactly. He's getting closer and closer. It's no longer like this premonition. It's an active hunt.
Yeah, a tease.
And like to the point where she's starting to been given these clues in the writing of, hey, she burned her arm.
Mm-hmm. We kind of know that, like, the dreams overlap now, and you can wake up.
But she's like, well, what if I do the opposite?
Mm-hmm.
The first steps of autonomy into the dream. And I like that she's entering Freddy's world, but initially he seems preoccupied with the punk Rod. And
yes.
And then at that same time, like, while we're like, oh shit, he's gonna kill him next, tucking him into bed is just another way to mess with Nancy. And like,
oh man,
it's to show that while she's in his world, he's in control and continues to mess with her, with showing Tina with the centipede coming out of her mouth.
Yes.
Also using it as a way to show that her boyfriend is unreliable and useless.
Yeah. Everyone but Nancy in this movie is slightly unreliable and mostly useless.
Well, because they're preoccupied. Her mom's an alcoholic.
Yes.
Her dad's a workaholic.
And granted, we get excuses for all of this later once we get to the parents learning that it's Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you just get so frustrated with everyone.
Well, because they know Freddy's dead.
True.
And the way he starts killing after that, like when he kills Rod, hanging him in the cell, just shows this level of sentience that he's actually thinking about stuff to make it look like a suicide.
Yeah,
keep
true.
the adults off his trail.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But there's another part that I don't get with this too, is like they show up for Rod's funeral, but not Tina's?
Yeah. Did we not like Tina?
I
Did
don't
Tina
know.
not get did Tina's family just like cremate her and then send everyone on their way? Like, what happened here?
Yeah, very much so. And at the same time, like, when they're still building up that Nancy knows stuff that she shouldn't, and her parents are just like, how is she knowing this? It doesn't mesh as well, because, like, they still know the nursery rhyme. Like, kids are singing this nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
Freddy's a known entity, at least, or maybe that's the dream aspect,
Maybe.
are these children singing the nursery rhyme real?
That is part of the fun of Nightmare on Elm Street, is any of this real?
Yeah.
And this is one of, I would argue, the better, like, examples of is any of this real, because at least this one has some fun with it, as opposed to, like, attempting an existential crisis.
But how could the parents hide it all? If it's such a big event that this guy's been killing multiple children and then he dies in a fire.
See, you're asking the same questions that the production company eventually asked, and thus Nightmare on Elm Street, the series began. We get to, I think it's like the second one, or maybe the third one. They were like, what truly happened in the first? Don't worry about it.
Third one's Dream Warriors.
Oh god, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, Nancy comes back.
Oh, she needed to not do
Dream
that.
Warriors is dope, though.
Yes. But...
But I do also appreciate that while there's things that are unexplained and, like, don't mesh super well, I do like that they try and do a scientific approach to it too, of like trying to explain away the paranormal.
Yeah.
And like,
there is some effort by Nancy's parents in some way. And it is within character of both of them, of her dad being like, no, I can protect her, I'm a cop. Her mom being like, no, I am using science and medicine to see if I can't cure my daughter of whatever is causing this.
Yeah, figuring out the exact dream state of when he does it. And like, the other thing too is like, this scene is interesting when they're putting her to medically induced sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That she experiences something so traumatic that we never see what turns her hair gray.
That's true.
But at the same time, like pulling his hat out of the dream.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Crazy power to have.
Very cool.
Very supernatural, very unexplained, but I like it.
I do too, because it gives us at least some form of like premonition loophole here, as opposed to what some other, like, is this real, is it in hell sort of movies, where you just kind of have to play on their turf and win like 4D chess on like the villain's terms. This gives us an out of, oh, well, Nancy is somehow the special one who can control some of this.
Yeah, and like honestly, from the parents' perspective, they're like, what is going on? Because, like,
that would be wild to witness.
One, their daughter's telling them about Freddy Krueger, a guy that she shouldn't know about.
Yeah.
Two, she's pulling his hat out of a dream.
So at thin air, just bloop, hat.
And they can't, like, explain it away of, like, oh, she took it in there. She was in a hospital gown. Like, where is she going to hide?
They watched her go to sleep.
Yeah, where's she going to hide that hat on her?
Also, she managed to change her hair color spontaneously.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Nancy's got wild powers.
Yeah. I mean, but it's also...
For a movie that's supposed to be, like, everyone has normal abilities.
Yeah.
Minus Freddy.
Yeah, well, it's also a way to set up that she can fight back. There's something she can do against Freddy.
It gives them that little bit of hope, which we like.
But on top of that, the parents bar up the house, like, with the security bars.
Oh my god.
In such a record time. Like, she's gone to the hospital.
She's been gone hardly at all.
Exactly.
Like, it is implied that she immediately falls asleep, does all of this almost immediately, and is back awake. They get that house boarded up like Fort Knox in a couple hours at best.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like,
Where did they get the bars? Did they just have those on standby?
Window standard size, I guess.
If you're a policeman, do you just have like a bunker full of those and it's like a standard issue for everyone?
I don't know.
What? It's not like they Amazoned them.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like they do all this, and then her mom takes her to the basement to just drop the entire lore of the mob justice and kept the knives as a weird souvenir of like, why would you have this in a fireplace in your house?
Why would you keep that? There is a, not really lost, but a cut scene that has made its rounds throughout the years, depending on when you get a re-release of this, of like them showing Freddy living in the basement. And it's supposed to like prove that like he's always been an outsider and like he's always been like this like low-life scum, doesn't even like live in a real place, lives in the, ashes in the basement next to the boiler. This whole, it's supposed to go somewhere in here. This is a mess. Freddy's a mess. Their parents are a mess. Why are we keeping murder souvenirs?
Is the mom in on it? I don't know.
See, okay, but if you think too hard about it, it does now like make her parents' tension a little bit more make sense, because not only did they kill a man,
they kept a souvenir of killing him.
The mother kept a souvenir, and I'm sure her father's like, you can't do that! It's evidence!
I guess. But, I mean, even then, like, as Nancy's still planning to fight back, her boyfriend, Glenn, is so useless.
Glenn is barely useful.
I do have a question about him now. Grant, it's about his fashion.
Oh, I might have answers about Glenn's fashion.
So, I know Johnny Depp was cast because Craven's daughter thought he was hot.
Correct, agree, yeah.
Do you think his crop top is for that?
I think it's an 80s thing.
Okay.
And I say that as someone who has recently rewatched a bunch of 80s TV shows that are like, they're supposed to be sitcoms. Most of them have like teenage kids in them. So like Brady Bunch, the Family one, a bunch of that style. And I think now confidently say that TV, granted I have no experience on your real world history of 80s people, but TV 80s high school kids, especially boys, seem to have some really wild choices on what they thought was cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that this is an 80s boy thing that we now are like, that's a fashion choice.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Don't bring it back. It looks horrible.
No, it looks terrible, but I do think it's in the same realm as how, like, we had some pretty terrible choices in our youth. Them low-rise jeans had no business being that low.
There's still some bad fashion choices.
Absolutely. So, like, I feel like this was just an 80s thing where, like, I'm sure Johnny Depp, I mean, it's
his first movie. He has zero say in his attire.
No, and also we'll learn that Johnny Depp's fashion is wild anyway. So, like, maybe that's just who he is.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do like this scene is her desperate try to fight back. Mm-hmm. And that the only person she can rely on is a guy that we clearly have seen is not able to not fall asleep.
Glenn is terrible about this.
And to be fair, Nancy is a little bit of the bad influence on it, and like Glenn's parents are trying to do their best to be like, hey, Something's, like, mentally, they're seeing
Mentally,
something wrong with her.
You need to give Nancy some room. She needs to, like, maybe go somewhere.
Or maybe this is a cautionary tale against being a good and strict parent.
Maybe? I don't know. I don't think so, because the non-strict ones are dead, so...
No, the non-strict ones aren't dead in this one.
The non-strict parents' children are dead. The two delinquent children are now dead.
The strict one dies.
Nancy is the strictest parent.
No, so is Glenn.
I guess.
Yeah, Glenn. They're not letting Nancy hang out with her.
I mean, that's true.
Him.
That's true.
But I do appreciate that, like, while we have all this stuff going on, he continues to blend this idea of, like, when did she fall asleep with, like, the phone tongue is gross.
The phone tongue is real nasty.
Yeah, but, like, it's just his way of, like, he hasn't been able to get her in 3 attempts.
Yeah, but it also does feel a bit like he's just messing around.
Yeah, and so what is he gonna do? He's gonna go get Glenn.
Might as well. He's an easier target for sure, because Glenn just falls asleep anywhere, willy-nilly.
Dipshit.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest effects in this movie.
So cool.
Just a room flipped upside down that they kept shut and just poured gallons of blood through. That was...
Would you like to take a wild guess at how many gallons?
Enough to make that, to question how many...
Gallons of blood?
How many people were killed for that?
So roughly about 500 gallons of fake blood was used. So much so that they kind of contemplated, should we use actual fake blood? Because it's like a thing that you make. Yeah. And they said, no, it's too many. So they just used water. Red water. Yeah. And they were like, you asked for too much. Well, and it still looks so cool.
And there was so much that they like one of the producer's kids, they're like, hey, we'll pay a minimum wage to go clean this up because we need this clean by tomorrow. There's too much and we can't keep the guys on set.
Yeah, but it looks so cool.
It does. But, like, also at the same time, like, up until this point, like, Tina, I don't understand how they can explain away her death. The Rod, the boyfriend. I mean, how are the cops going to explain this death away of, like, well,
there was roughly 800 people's worth of blood.
And not just 800 people's worth of blood, because we're looking at this from the effect side of, like, they tip the room upside down.
It's true. It looks really crazy.
From this world's perspective, is this kid fell into his mattress and geysers of blood covered his ceiling. How are you going to explain this one away?
Yeah, that's a good point. Good luck, cops. Not my problem. Can you imagine the paperwork involved in that?
Broom-covered blood. Geyser, we don't know.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
But I love that immediately after this, Nancy's response is to go do Dreamtime Home Alone style terrorism against Freddy Krueger.
Love a booby trap that makes no sense.
Reminder, it's illegal to booby trap your house, but
it is.
In your dream world.
In dreams, you're allowed to booby trap whatever, but you are correct, it is technically illegal to booby trap your home. Disappointing, but
yeah.
When you're going after Freddy Krueger, maybe it's fine.
Oh, but I mean, it's great too, just because, like, it's one, it's showing that the dad is trying to do something. He's like, Tina, or Nancy, let me know if something happens, come and get me.
But he locks her in the house, so...
To be fair, I mean, he is trying.
I mean, as much as an 80s horror movie parent can possibly try. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the bar's low.
But with her doing this as well, it's also... We're seeing that Freddy can warp the world to whatever he wants, because when she goes into the basement, it's not her home basement, it's Freddy's lair basement.
That's true. That is true.
And I mean, that ends up making it more claustrophobic and it's trapping. It's this last-ditch effort for her to even nab him of, like, I'm going to pull him out of the dream so we can get him. And just, like, to be fair, like, the dad is, like, there's, like, this little bit of aftershock of, like, okay, well, maybe she is crazy because Freddy didn't come through. I mean, he's falling for all the traps and whatnot. Yeah. And the other cop is like, this is above my paycheck.
Fair. Totally fair.
And then, like, lighting him on fire, burning him to death twice because can you burn an idea to death?
I think that's kind of meant to be the symbology here.
Exactly.
You beat a dead horse to death.
Because, like, the dad even is just like, what the hell is going on? And when we see the fire footsteps.
Yeah, the fire footsteps are wild.
But here's what I like about this movie.
Okay.
Is that there's none, again, back to like, we don't have the internet.
Mm-hmm.
There's no elaborate ritual. There's
I
no
appreciate.
research on how do we defeat this creature? How can we take this down?
True.
It's this, oh, this might work because I don't have time to figure this out. It's do or die of like, my last ditch effort is to bring him into the real world and make him walk through our Home Alone style booby-trapped house.
But here's the thing, and I agree. I think movies have moved away from this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the instinct of dealing with this problem. And that's part of the fun of horror movies, especially slasher, boogeyman style horror movies, is we don't want the internet to tell us how to deal with the ghost. I feel like most people's fun is being like, well, if it was me, I would have clearly just done X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Or why wouldn't the character choose to do this instead of that? That argument is part of the fun of these movies. And I do agree. I think a lot of more modern, like, boogeyman slasher movies don't leave room for why would we spend so much time trying to light him on fire when we could have smashed him with a paint can?
Yeah.
Sort of situation.
Well, and I like that Freddy is like, Nancy's too much of a hassle for me. I'm going to go after the easy alcoholic mom, who is technically the person I should be going after.
Yeah, again, I feel like modern boogeyman movies spend too much time trying to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie really proves that you don't really need good logic.
No.
For it to be a great movie.
To be entertaining, at least.
Oh, at the minimum.
Because,
if you were Freddy, like, why wouldn't you start with the parents that killed you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing, too, is... like,
especially because technically this Freddy's not a child toucher. Technically. We lost that.
Well, and here's the thing, is, like, I like that because the logic does work as well, where, like, the reason Nancy's not able to take care of him, or get rid of him, him coming out of the bed is cool as hell.
It was so cool.
But her turning her back on him and not giving him the attention that he needs to be powerful, he's been getting more and more powerful because they've been giving him more and more attention.
He's able to come into the real world more the more people know about him.
Exactly. And like that way to get rid of him is such a hard transition between that and then quote unquote escaping the dream, because the way this movie ends is like, it's the end of this movie. Like, Freddy wins because, one, the way we know we're still in the dream, Mom is magically giving up alcohol.
Yeah, everyone's happy.
Everyone's still alive. The hood of the car is, or the sunroof or whatever it is.
It's fine.
The sunroof of the car is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. And
then just like the school nursery rhyme, I mean, it's just the one last way to kill someone of like, it's not in her dream. Whose dream are we in now?
Yes.
Is it Nancy's dream? Is it the mom's dream?
Is it the real world? Has he like morphed? Yeah, the unknown questions.
Yeah, no, it just ends on that cliffhanger of like, well, everyone's dead now.
Probably.
Who knows?
Probably, but we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, such a fun time.
I didn't grow up with these slashers.
Yeah.
My horror films as a kid were like, I mean, Alien for one.
Well, sure.
But then it was like Ringu and Ju-on and Resident Evil.
Absolutely. My friend group, we liked those. We were huge Alien fans for sure. But we loved a slasher film, and I was also a pool rat kid. And there's a horror genre for pool section, and it's a lot of these summer slashers. Yeah,
Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, even Halloween, while technically a fall movie.
Yeah, and honestly, that was kind of a lot of it is we were Halloween kids. We loved Halloween time. We loved the Halloween movies. Summer would roll around, and we'd get these summer Halloween-ish movies where it's spooky, but it's summertime, and if, I'm probably not going to watch Nightmare on Elm Street as part of my, like, ritualistic watching for Halloween as a high schooler. But I'll watch it, like, halfway through summer break when I'm over with friends.
Yeah, and I can see why we would want more of this. I mean, Freddy really stands out against all the other kills. I mean, we brought this up multiple times through the review.
They did such a great job making him such a unique killer.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 a lot better than the first one.
And, okay, that's something that ended up working out really well is there is clearly passion behind this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The special effects are fun. It doesn't matter that the plot holes are gigantic and easily tripping into them. A lot of it came down to the fact that a lot of the people who worked on these films had a good time, and a huge person who had a good time was Robert playing as Freddy himself. He had a blast.
Yeah.
And that passes over as you make a whole franchise out of these. You can tell.
And I mean, that's what works, is you have to, it's this perfect balance of schlock, real-world believability, or in-world believability.
Yes.
And then just making something that's entertaining. Like, you don't have to think too hard on it. Like, granted, yes, there's a lot of stuff that makes zero sense to this movie.
Yeah.
But that's what I appreciate, is that it is a dream world. Dreams don't make sense.
Yes.
Just that weaving of, when do we enter reality? When do we enter the dream state? Because I've had those dreams of, like, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to something, but, like, my eyes are asleep, I feel asleep, but my mind is still hearing everything else around me.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of those movies that, like, I see where kicking off a franchise of it, no matter how goofy, no matter how wild it eventually gets,
yes,
makes sense, and it feels right. There's some franchises where, like, I had fun, I don't need Babadook number 5, right?
Yeah.
But I could watch Freddy be redone in every format under the sun, and yeah, it's probably gonna be bad, but I'm still having a good time.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is, like, once you get to, like, some of the later ones where, like, he's the one with the video game, what is it, Dream Child?
I don't know. The names don't help because they're all dream based and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I get why, like, this one really worked as something unique.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
And dreams are infinite, so, I mean, you can constantly work in different types of dreams.
Yeah, and honestly, part of the fun of the 80s horror movies is that it's really less about, like, the actual story or plot. It's really more about creating a monster character who you can then rework into 800 different movies, and we know that that's a formula that works, because we just talked about vampires and werewolves, and how that's an entire thing that Universal is still clinging to with their grippy little hands.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I am glad that we've had a little bit of decline in these types of franchises. Like, It works in the time that it came out. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where I don't think we can naturally just reproduce creating more of these boogeymen.
No.
In the same way that, like, every time we see someone trying to re-kick off vampire movies or the Invisible Man series, where, like, yeah, maybe one or two of them is cool, but you're not going to get the hype, you're not going to get the, like, the rolling effect of just movie after movie. And most of them are bad, and it doesn't matter.
Well, and you've got to, like, work the amplification of what's the next biggest thing that we can dread. So, like, A Nightmare on Elm Street, it starts off with, like, I was talking with Holy Group's Brett, what was it? I forget his other channel name. Shit. Film Writer Husband, I think, is his channel. Yeah. Off the top of my head. But we were talking about, like, how the greatness of sequels, where, like, Alien and then Aliens. Alien, you have Ripley, who's defending herself.
So cool, yeah.
But then you come to the next generation, and it's like, oh, you have to give her something outside of herself to defend.
You have to keep changing it to fit your audience.
Same thing with Terminator 2. This one, it's just the next generation of children, but, like, how do you tie the children? You've already ramped it up to the first victims that Freddy goes after are the people who killed his victims.
Oh, absolutely.
Where do you build from that? Like, you can't have, like, unless you bring back Nancy, which you do in the third one.
They do.
But, like, her children, like, you don't have that ramping up with this one that you have. And to re-bring that in, like, horror films also work with the cultural zeitgeist of the time.
Oh, absolutely. And this is a epitome of the latchkey generation.
Latchkey generation, you have the satanic panic going on and those accusations.
Along with a bunch of the murder cases that happened in the 80s that were all boogeyman style. They gave them funny names and everything.
Look at, going back to our review on M. Exact same thing happens where it's a cultural accumulation of the fears of the time.
Absolutely.
How do you evolve A Nightmare on Elm Street into something that's more than just the goofy Freddy that we know? Like, you can't. You've pushed him past that terrifyingness.
No, I completely agree. And this is one of those movies where, because it is so goofy, the horrors of it really aren't the horrors of today, right? Like, most teenagers are not coming home without their parents anymore. This isn't what the world looks like anymore.
Yeah.
But because this movie is so much fun, it's having such a wild time. The special effects are through the damn roof for no reasons really, other than that they wanted to. This movie's still fun. It still holds up. The franchise is still fun and holds up minus 1 or 2. So it's one of those things where, like, can we recreate Freddy? No, I don't think so. We're gonna have to find a new Freddy, a new version of Freddy. But can you come back and rewatch this movie, even if you've never seen it before?
In a way, Black Phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I haven't seen the sequel, but I've heard it's very similar in concept.
And honestly, we're kind of moving towards a whole new genre of horror in general. A lot of people are tired of remakes and sequels anyway.
We have no longer... I posted the meme in our Discord, but it's no longer the iconic franchise of Man with Knife Fingers or Creepy Clown. Now it's Rooms and Some Dude's Girlfriend.
True. You're not wrong. But that's okay. Like, there is always going to be a wave or a change in what a, like, genre needs to look like at the time. The real question is, after you're done with that genre, can you come back and enjoy that piece?
Yeah.
And I think we've learned, especially since neither one of us had watched this movie in a while, you can come back and enjoy Freddy. He's still a good time, even if it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah. So then, Chris, on a good, bad, weird scale, what do you rate this movie?
For me, this is a trifecta.
Okay.
This is a trifecta because there is enough weird in this movie if you really sit down and look at this film. If you like the behind the scenes like we do, it just makes it worse. It's also a bad film, and I say that with all the love in my heart. This movie had the budget of a piece of gum and a shoestring, but it's, at the end of the day, it combined the weird and it did the best it could with the bad to create a very good movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it the whole trifecta because I can't see it as too weird because...
Sure.
Dreams are weird to begin with. That's just their nature. So it doesn't necessarily make the movie weird. It's just relying on the weirdness of the nature of dreams.
Sure.
I'm gonna go good, bad for me because while I love the ideas of this movie, the dream sequences have always had some goofiness to them.
They do. They sure do.
It ends up coming across, the weird comes across for me as a bit more of the budget of the movie. I agree, and like I said, the more you look into whys or how comes, the weirder it gets. Yeah.
Like, why is Freddy wearing Christmas colors? Because the director thought he was doing something psychological there.
Yeah, it's a budget movie that ended up being a proving ground of what the franchise could go on to do.
Absolutely, and the franchise gets real weird.
Yeah, very much so. So then, Chris, do you recommend A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh, absolutely. Granted, it's a slasher, and I get that not everyone wants to watch a slasher, but
it's a paranormal slasher.
And it's so fun. It's wild. It's over the top. And if you haven't seen it in a hot minute like I had, this is a rewatch for sure. There's a ton you've forgotten about.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely go back and rewatch it, or watch it for the first time if you haven't. Can't recommend the entire franchise, but at least the first 3.
Start here.
Yeah.
And then also maybe just jump around to the genre in general, because the crossovers will happen.
Well, we'll get to them one day.
One of these days we will do only crossover movies.
Maybe.
Probably not. That'd take a lot of work.
But, yeah, that's been A Nightmare on Elm Street. Listeners, you better grab your crucifixes and stay up late or never sleep again as we continue our summer of child murder with serial killers and camping with age-accurate child casting.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
Yeah, for once.
Yeah.
But, anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Thank you for stopping by this here town of the good, the bad, and the weird. We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there. And always check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace.